Feel That family. It's Dr. Roz with the Fabulous Female Fridays. Welcome back to our 7-week series, part 2 on 7 reasons to not get married. This week we are focusing on the unwillingness to forgive. If you know that you are a person that likes to hold grudges, that can have a nasty attitude about when someone has wronged you and you can't walk away from a situation, then you might want to rethink about marriage being for you. And I say this because in marriage, there will be times where you and your spouse will go to war with each other, and they may say something that's very offensive to you. And if you do not have the capacity to forgive them for that, then your marriage is going to falter. Resentment's going to set in. It's just not going to be a pretty picture. So, I have 2 things that I really go by in life. And I know, listen, and I'm a Christian, so let me just say this. I'm the type of person where I don't really hold a grudge. If I get betrayed or if someone has wronged me, it hurts. I deal with those emotions, and I try to figure out a way to try to gain understanding of what has taken place. Now, whether that means that I confront them, but anytime I've ever confronted someone about a situation, I'll confront them in love, because maybe they didn't know that, I offended them, or vice versa, I didn't know that they offended me, those kind of things. So, you have to come from a place of understanding. And I say this, that it really is all God, because people have done some things to me that it's an act of God that I have been able to forgive them. My poor husband, bless his heart, when him and I are like beefing, because let's just face it, it happens. When we're having our issues, I don't believe in going to bed upset, and thank God neither does he. So if that means that we're going to be up all night discussing what's going on, then so be it. That's what's going to happen. We are going to deal with the issue in the moment, or deal with the issue when we have gotten the emotion out of it and we're able to think about it logically. So as I mentioned, I am a Christian, and I really live my life by this. Matthew 6:14 says that, forgive those that trespass against you, and God will forgive your trespasses. And then Matthew 6:15 says that if you do not forgive those that trespass against you, God will not forgive you. See, that's very serious to me, because I know I've done some stuff. Let's face it, none of us are perfect. We all came into this world with some sin, and all the craziness that I've done, and things that I've offended people and didn't really know I offended them. If God didn't forgive me for that, that would be a very, 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 very hard pill for me to swallow completely. So I've always made it a point to try to look at a situation, to try to understand the situation. And again, it's not all me. I'm telling you, it's an act of God that has got me to this place. Because I try to give people the opportunity and the chance to say what they feel. Because maybe I've done something, or maybe they've done something to me that makes perfectly logical sense to them, and maybe I just need to gain some understanding about it. Listen, holding grudges against people will lead you into ridiculousness of stress. I can't even begin to explain how holding a grudge really is more harmful to you than it is to the other person. Because when a person offends you, they move on with their life. They're laughing, they're having a good time, yet you are still sitting back, letting this person and letting their actions have power over you and determining what you do and how you feel. And I like I tell my students, like I tell my clients, it's all about the CAB effect. And let me explain that to you. It's C, our cognitions, that's the C in CAB. A, affect, that's the emotionality that we have in CAB. And then B, that's the behaviors that we have in the acronym CAB. And so basically, our cognitions or our thoughts affect how we feel, and our thoughts and our feelings affect how we behave. So once we become aware of what we're thinking and what we're feeling, we can change our behaviors. But if no one ever brings that to our attention, or if we never sit down and do introspection and think about these things for ourselves, then we will just go around just doing a multitude of craziness to people. So really, forgiveness is about you. It really isn't about the other person. It's really the capacity that you have to understand an offense that someone has done towards you, and the capacity that you have to be able to let it go. It's not easy. Trust me. I know it's not easy. We've all been betrayed. We have all been betrayed. But the reality is that when it begins to mess with the functioning of your life, that's when it's problematic. You're giving that other person way too much power. And that's when it becomes really unfair to you. Completely unfair to you. If you're not going to certain events because someone that you've had a little tiff with is going to be there, that's not fair to you. Let's just be real. If you are canceling an engagement because you've had a tiff with someone and you know that they're probably going to be there, or you're dreading seeing this person, it's not fair to you. No one else's behaviors should dictate how you're functioning in your life. So you just have to get to a point to where you understand that, the reality is that that person's behavior should not dictate your character. Plain and simple. What someone else does should not dictate you. And when you hold a grudge and when you have a nasty attitude towards someone, then you're no better than that person. And the reality is that really what forgiveness is about is saying when you're unwilling to forgive someone, it's actually saying, I'm better than you because you wronged me. You were wrong. I was right. And I'm the better, and I'm greater for that. And really in a relationship, do you want to be better than your spouse? Do you want to be greater than your spouse? Is that really the type of relationship you want to have? If it is, marriage is not for you. If that's how you function, marriage is not for you. You can't be in a relationship trying to one-up your spouse. It just does not work. It's unfair to the relationship. And if you bring children into the mix, is this really what you want to teach your children? So we have to be aware of our behaviors. And we have to be aware of our thoughts and how we feel about our thoughts and how our thoughts and our feelings are dictating our behaviors. Because if we do not stop to think about those things, it will lead us into a multitude of craziness. And listen, let me tell you a little secret. Vengeance is the Lord. He can do much worse than what you ever could do to your enemies. So why don't you just let him do his job? When you try to take control over what should take place, really what that is saying is that you don't trust that God will take care of it. And whoever your God is, mine happens to be Jesus Christ Lord, but when you are trying to control stuff, that's really you saying, I don't trust that he'll take care of this. I don't trust that he'll do this. So then you have to make a decision about forgiveness. Are you going to trust God to handle whatever the situation is? Or are you going to try to do things on your own? And you and I both know when we do things on our own, we mess it up. Listen, most people that know me, they think I'm a nice person, yes, but I do have a vindictive spirit. I think crazy stuff too. I'm not going to act like I'm not, not like most people. The difference is I just don't know how to fight. That's why I'm not a combative person. So I'm not going to run up on someone and try to fight them because I don't know how to fight, plain and simple. So in that, I have to find another way to deal with altercations. And just so happen, thank God, that, like I said, it's just an act of him that he's been able to allow me to understand, or to want to go try and gain understanding of why I may be having a tiff with someone. So listen, forgiveness is not easy. Betrayal is not easy. But nothing in life is easy. These are the things that you got to work on and things that you have to be aware of. And if you do not take these lessons into your relationships, and I'm talking about all your relationships at this point, all of them. You don't take these lessons into your relationships, you will be lonely and bitter. And if that's how you want to spend your latter days, then so be it. But if not, I would highly encourage you to try to learn how to forgive people and to try to work towards gaining an understanding of why someone may function in the way that they do. I'm not saying let people run over you. By no means am I saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that give people a second chance. Because if God didn't give us the many chances that he has given us throughout our lifetime, we'd all be dead and gone. So, it sounds cliche, but what would Jesus do? Would he forgive someone? And so those are really kind of the lessons that we have got to try to embody if we want a healthy, successful relationship. I hope this was a great way to spend our time. I hope you guys got something from this. I hope that this can minister to your life a bit and maybe change or make you more aware of your behaviors and your thoughts and your feelings and how they all coincide with each other. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this series thus far with Kill on his Male Mondays and myself with the Female Fridays, because it's been really a blessing for us to do this for you guys. You can always check us out at tillddeathinfo.com. We're also on Facebook. We're also on Twitter with the same name, so you can check us out there as well. But if you are loving these videos, then please, please, please subscribe to our YouTube station, and it's under Till Death Info. Subscribe to our YouTube station so that you'll always be abreast of when the next new video comes out. I thank you for spending this time with me, and I thank you for allowing me to encourage you to be the ambassadors in your relationships. Have a blessed one, and let's work on forgiveness, people. It's a beautiful thing. Let's work on it.